presentation, I would like to show you some things and mention some terms that you should be familiar with. So I will share my screen. Let me share desktop. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can everybody see my screen? The Heatmaps page.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. So in the presentation, the heat map was mentioned, and I think is a very important term that you should at least be familiar with. One of the challenges when working as a developer or working in a startup or in a tech company is that you have to become familiar with a lot of terms. It doesn't mean that you have to know everything, but you have to be familiar with some terms that your colleagues might present to you or mention. So one of the challenges and one of the things that we have to do in order to prepare ourselves for getting a job, applying for a job in a tech company, in a startup, is that we have to familiarize ourselves with certain concepts. So the heat maps that was mentioned, I will show this image here. So heat maps, for those of you who don't know, is this kind of thing. This is the visual, let's say, representation. So underneath this red, green, yellow colors, we have a simple website. And the heat maps are data that was gathered from user interaction, either from people browsing the website and clicking through different sections. So let's say that about 100 users log into this website and they click on this home logo icon, which is most of the time it's also a link to the home page. So if, let's say, from out of 100 users, 80% or 70% click over here, we will be a special program, a special software will gather these statistics, these clicks, and it will generate this heat map. It's just an image, and it will show with these colors that this place here on the page was clicked by most of the users. Or maybe this place, or maybe this telephone number. So one way that heat maps are generated is through user interaction. So most clicks or interactions such as double clicks or scrolling or other user interactions, we have a lot of data gathered in, and then depending on how many users click how many times on a specific part of the page, we see if some buttons or some features of our website are really useful to the users, or they don't use them at all or rarely. And from this data, we know what the users click and what the users don't click, and we try to make to change or update our software and our websites in order for the users to engage and click on the links that we want. For example, there might be a button which is either too small or cannot be identified or cannot be easily seen. And through the heat map, we see that a button which is important to us is not clicked so often. So we either make the button bigger or change the color or put the button in a different position. Another way that we get heat maps is through special cameras. So whenever we visit a website, we have a sample of people that they get special permissions, and the software company gets special permissions to their cameras, and the software sees where people are currently looking at when they visit a page. So there's a camera pointing to the user's face and especially the eyes, and through some special eye tracking software, they see what each user's eyes see and what path their eyes follow as they browse through a website. So I think this is a heat map that tracks the user's eye contact and the path, and you can see that a lot of the users are looking at the logo and the title. They look at the face here. So there is a photograph, an image of a woman. So the eyes are go there, and also this big text concentrates a lot of most of the user's eyes, and with this way we see how a user experiences the website, and we can do and use all sorts of tricks. For example, in this, by chance I came into this picture. There are studies with psychologists, and they say that whenever we have an image of a person that is looking towards something, our psychology motivates us to look at that point. This is something that you see also in real life. If someone, a passerby, looks quickly somewhere, you tend to look that way. This is how we behave. This is our instincts. So when we have an image, let's say, of a woman here that looks over there, our gaze, our eyes are automatically targeted and go to this position on the page. So you will see that in ads everywhere, and also online and offline. When we have a person looking somewhere on a page or on on a commercial, our eyes tend to move in that direction. So this is, in a nutshell, what a heat map or heat maps are. Special software that tracks users' interaction through a website and through various means: eye tracking software, cameras, clicks, mouse interactions. They create this sort of images, the heat maps, and from that we can gain some insights on how the users perceive and experience the website, and we can change things accordingly. So you can read more about Googling and searching for heat maps. I will just show you another example. Here we have an online shop, and as you can see, it sells some women's clothes, and we can see where the users' eyes are moving along the website. You can see that most of the times we get a really good look at the logo and at the link on top, and then at the faces, you can see that we tend to look at other people's faces, and this is another way, another example of a heat map. Yes, we don't know if the user is a man or a woman, as Nikos asks. We can also get this kind of data or statistics from special companies or services or tools. And another term that I want you to become familiar with is what is known as A/B testing. And you will often hear this in companies that provide services and have interfaces, and they gain a lot of their traction and their visitors and their clients through a website. So A/B testing means that we create 2 or more versions of our product. Our product can be an ad, a commercial, a website, an interface, a game. It can be almost anything. So we create various versions, and then we test. So we create a website. So instead of creating one version of a website, we create 2 versions. version A and version B. And then we split the traffic, the visitors coming in on our website, we split the traffic 50%, and 50% of our users land on the version A, 50% of our users land on version B. And then after this interaction, we get some valuable feedback. For example, out of the 50% of the users that landed on version A, we see that we have a 20% conversion. Conversion means that they visited the website and let's say they bought a product. So for version A, only 20% of the 50% cut of the visitors actually made, let's say, a purchase. But on version B, it might be a more engaging version with a lot of images or with different images. We had the 40% conversion. So out of these 50% users, 40% of them actually made a purchase. And from this A/B testing, we see that version B is the best option to go, and from then on, we just use version B for our website. Another kind, let's see some images. For example, we have two different versions of an interface. We have this mobile application, and we decide to launch two versions, A and B. This one has different colors, different layouts, different design, and we have version B. After segmenting, as the title says, our users and our testing, we come to the conclusion that a lot of the users really prefer the version A. And then we decide and we choose to deploy version A as our main interface. So these two terms are really important, heat maps and A/B testing. So I want you to be at least familiar with them, since you will be probably hearing about them or come to a point where your company might tell you about A/B testing. So maybe some product manager comes to you, you're a web designer, you are from the developer, and they will ask you to create an A/B testing for, let's say, a promotional page. You should know what A/B testing means, and you should be familiar, and you will, of course, reply and respond accordingly.